Hey guys, it's Lori from Laura's World. I am about to talk to somebody in Canada. I've been wanting to talk to him for a while, actually. He's so cool and he does so many different things. I am really, really looking forward to talking to Jay. So let's wait for him to come on and see what he's got to say. And thank you for doing this with me. I usually get home about 4:30 my time, and I figured 5 o'clock my time was 3 o'clock your time. It was plenty of time. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna make it. But here we are. Here we are. I got to leave a little bit early. My boss let me go. She knew how excited I was to meet you. Because I really am. I love what you're doing. I really do. I want to know all about the recovery couple. I want to know about you. I want to know how you got into this and what you just posted last week about your ebook. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so 5,020 days ago, I got clean and sober. So we're coming up on almost 14 years. Will be February 11th. Wow. 14 years. I can't even 14 years. Let's knock on some wood for that one. Interesting thing though, this morning, I actually went and dropped off this journey to third. So I actually got a book. So this is like my one thing is to see your actual ebook, and it's absolutely amazing. And everything that I've ever tried in this last 5,020 days to launch a mental health platform to help people and get it in the actual Sober Biz Babe. Brooke did a phenomenal job on the website and putting together this stuff, because we've come together on that, and seeing the ebook, because it can reach everybody across the world, because it's all, you come into our Zoom, right? So we got people in UK, Australia, Mexico, Hawaii, people just hitting the website all over the place. But when you actually have this in your hand, like, it was a lot for me to process, because it came. And this morning I went to because I have a real big passion for getting into the system. I have a super big passion to get into the correctional system. I have a super big passion, my heart, because that's where I came from. So when I talk about that, I talk about the corrections, right? Going into jails. And when I used to go to jail, there was never any help, right? Like, I'd ask for help and there's no programs. There was nothing there for me.
Okay.
Talk to the priest and here's some stuff to work with God and stuff. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, I need programming for me to keep clean and sober. I can't just have God. I can't, it just, that part of it doesn't work for me. Yeah. I need to have that part of it, and I need to have programming in place that gives me the quality of life that I need today. It's what's worked for me, right? So, and I only got clean and sober once. I never tried this 2, 3, 4 times. I only did it once. But I actually went and delivered this to the Kenora jail today. I haven't been in that jail since I went there. So we're talking 14 plus years ago.
How was it?
So there was a whole bunch of emotion going on. I almost puked in the parking lot. And, am I going to get out of there? Are they going to let me out? Are they going to let me out? And it's crazy to even think this, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, are they going to let me out? And, all I was doing was going to drop off the package for the lady that, who really supports the programming and the sessions and really supports Ashley and I. And they've posted our stories in the ranges for the inmates, and they run Recovery Couple whenever they can. And, so she really supports what we're doing. But still that, I get to the jail and I'm like, no, I'm not turning in there yet. I don't feel too good about this. Yeah. And so I do a loop around the block, right? And here I am, just, I'm just coming to do service and coming to help and coming to deliver a program that that's given me my life and also thousands of other people have helped. And so I start walking to the door, and I'm just like, I see the guard in front of me, and I'm just like, I wonder if I'm getting out of here. Wow. Oh, Jay. And, they knew that I was coming, and it was exciting. It's exciting to know that, this book is now sitting in their office because they're doing an addition. They're building onto the jail, and they're going to be looking for programming sessions. So, I got a good support letter from her, because I'm trying to work, right? So you got to think, 5,020 days ago, that's where I was. Like, I lived to use and used to live. I was simply an addict. I didn't know how to break out of the system. I was born Jay Corey, name change halfway through my life, which really messed me up, which then really drove me towards addiction, because I didn't know who I was, right? My father wasn't really in my life, but my grandfather was my dad, right? But my real dad wasn't around much due to addiction and alcoholism. So I lost that identity, right? Of Jay Corey to Jay Barnard, failed grade 3, turned to food. That was the first addiction to kill the pain, plummeted a lot of weight, became this kid that nobody wanted to be around, always the last one picked on the team, right? The self-confidence and the desire to do anything and the self-esteem self-esteem. I can't look at myself in the mirror because I'm not good enough. And if I'm not good enough for myself, having to, all that stuff, right? That really messes with a young person's head. And then you go home to a dysfunctional family. Your mom's trying to do the best she can. You're doing these moves. You're going to your grandmas. You're going to your grandpas. There's always fights in between. You just don't know where you belong. So turn into the food a bit. Food didn't, food stopped working. I turned to porn. So I lost myself inside of sex and then fake sex. And what was that about? And, losing myself inside of that really messed up every single relationship I ever went into because I didn't know what a relationship was, right? What I was seeing and what I was doing was two different things, which a lot of people don't want to talk about. No. We talk about everything because there's somebody out there that is struggling maybe with the same thing to get to them. And I lost myself in that world, for a long time, and that world didn't work. And then that's when the alcohol and drugs came at 12, 13 years old. I had my first drink and it's just like,
ooh, yeah.
That was like,
thank you.
Mask on, goodbye anxiety, goodbye depression. I don't have to be Corey. I don't have to be this. I don't have to be that. Why do I feel numb? This feels good. My thoughts are stopping, like they're not running as fast, and I can kind of breathe. And I got some swagger now, and I just feel like I feel whole, which was fake. It was a fake, false belief of mine. But and then the drugs came, and then the drug selling came. Putting those both together, was a recipe for a guy that just learned how to manipulate, lie, cheat, steal, forge his way through a business, learn how to do business, on the streets, and basically had whatever he wanted because he had the drugs, and always used. But the problem was that I could never sit with self. I could never be with self. I could never think about self. I could, if a problem came, boom, next, don't deal with anything. Just run. Run as fast as I can. Self-destructive for years, and then trying the psychedelics and getting into the acid and the mushrooms, and then, just constantly using, just not understanding what a relationship was, right? Like if you don't know how to have a relationship with yourself, it's a real hard thing to try and have somebody else. Like
absolutely.
It's hard to understand who you are, and then you're trying to understand who they are, and you're just trying to fix their problems because you don't want to look at yourself. So now you just create friction between the both of you. And
then yourself, and so that you're a liar and a cheater and a manipulator, so you think that that's what they are as well, and you want to get one up on them. And
how many girls can I sleep with before I get caught? And how many girls can I have? And how much of this can I get? How much of that can I get? And where can I go here? And how much of this? More. Right. And so people always ask me, what were you addicted to, Jay? And I say more. Like I don't have a defined cocaine or this or that or anything else. Didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Still in recovery. I'm addicted to more because maybe it's more working out. Maybe it's more work. Maybe it's more success. Maybe it's more, I need to kill emotion with food. Maybe it's more clothing. Maybe it's, so there's the definition of more just makes me understand that, okay, you got to watch yourself, right? Instead, I'm addicted to cocaine, but then all of a sudden I flip to buying cars, and then I flip to this or flip to that. Right. And then I don't recognize what's going on because I don't want to, deal with my thoughts because I don't know what my thoughts are. I can't register it.
Did you go right into a rehab? Did you go into AA, NA? Did you just start reading literature on your own? Did you know anybody that was sober and just started hanging out with them? What did you do? Just stop and...
No, I didn't know. I didn't know AA or NA existed.
Okay.
I quit drinking January 7th, 2008. That was the last time I had a drink.
Okay.
That's the last time I got busted. I got busted 5 times with possession and purposing and the intent to sell cocaine. But I quit drinking, but I couldn't give up the drugs.
Okay.
So I just kept using it. So I got put in jail, and there's no way I should have got out, right? Like, so when I went for bail here, and I just assumed I'd be staying in. Well, the judge was sick that day, and it was the justice of the peace. And I was like, well, this doesn't happen. But like these little things that happened while I was using, like I never realized that, you call it higher power moment, call it whatever you want to call it, right? But like, why did that happen? That wasn't supposed to happen. It's kind of like when you're in recovery and you go, wait a second, why did that happen? I know why today it happened, right? I'm doing the footwork, giving the rest up to my higher power, and then he's delivering the gifts, the rewards, and the benefits that come my way. Yeah, and then they said, he put me on a whack in conditions, a bracelet on the ankle, had to sign into the police station 3 times a day, couldn't leave the house, but I couldn't give up. I had an extremely hard time giving up the drugs. I had a real hard time, and they sent me to this counselor behind the hospital, and I'd be going to the bathroom and using while talking to her. And, she said, you got one house left on the block, Jay, and it's treatment, it's God driven, and I don't think you're going to succeed. And I lost my mind, right? I said, why are you going to send me somewhere where I'm not going to succeed, right? Like back in 2005, when I owned a company, we lost it and I lost it, and I got pulled over while driving under suspension for the 5th time. And I tried committing suicide back-to-back times in 2005. Took a bunch of green pills and snorted one, and then this girl I was seeing at the time found me in a pile of black puke. I had overdosed, and I hadn't seen her because I was abusive. She left me. So another higher power hour is like, why did she come home and find me? She hadn't been around for 3 weeks, right? Like, and there I am, overdosed on the doorstep, waiting for the birds to find me in the morning. I'll tell you one thing: when you've made that decision and you've made that choice, and you've said to yourself, okay, I have no life left to live. I remember the Wednesday and the Thursday was like the best sleep of my life, because I knew that Friday I was taking my life. But waking up from that, I'll tell you, I had never felt so much failure. I never felt so much guilt, so much remorse, so much shame. Like, what do I got left? I can't even kill myself is what I was saying to myself. Like, if that's the point I brought myself to, how do I switch this around now? Because I was at peace. I was okay. I was okay with my family not seeing me ever again, right? And now I got to figure this out. So I get out of there, and then I go get a 60-ounce of rye and an ounce of crack, and I try hanging myself for 24 hours.
Oh God!
And every time I put myself in the thing, I sit into the rope. I say, it's this time, waiting for the chair to fall. And then 24 hours goes by. I turn myself into the Barrie Police, and I get a year in penitentiary for driving while under suspension. Jail saved my life. So we talk about all these moments in time. We talk about all these. Is that a coincidence, or why did that happen? And it's like, how did I get through that? And then to get myself to Barrie Police Station and just yell and scream in the court office, yelling I'm guilty, and they just take me away, right? Which gave me a year, and I got out. But then I came back and just the problem is there's no programming in any single prison to help anybody that needs help. There isn't. That's why I'm so loud and proud about getting this into the correctional centers. So she says to me, you got that last house on the block and it's treatment, and I just lost. I said, why are you going to send me somewhere where we're going to fail? But at the time I didn't realize, what she went and did? She went and planted a seed, a little tiny seed of hope, And what I got from that, now that I'm so clean, and, God bless her, Sandy Paul, she's just such a beautiful lady that just, saw something in me that I never saw in myself. Like most times, right? As addicts and alcoholics, we never see what other people see in us, right? We never do. We never believe in ourselves. Somebody else believes in us first, and then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, we can do it now, right? And that's how we get it. And yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I believe. And yeah, I love myself. And yeah, right? Like all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you. I didn't know what show you was, but I'm going to show you anytime I'm going back and forth to the bathroom to smoke crack between the meetings, but I'm going to show you. But they made me wait 32 days. And this is another reason why I'm so loud and so aggressive. And so people are dying on wait lists. I'm lucky I never died on the wait list. I am lucky because I used right on through. I used right up till February 10th, 2000. I'm lucky I did not die waiting to go get help. These wait lists, I don't even like that. Hey, Jay, we're going to put you on a wait list for 32 days, and we're going to contact with you when we're ready to bring you in. Sure doesn't make me feel like I'm part of something or loved or cared about or any of that stuff. But for those 32 days, I tried everything in my power to kill myself, and it just didn't do it. Couldn't do it. I don't know, like every time, right? And just higher than a kite. And then I went and got help on February 11th, 2008 at the Salvation Army. That's where it all started for me. The Salvation Army Anchorage Boost Center was right beside the homeless shelter. So I was like right on ground level, right? I'd walk out and people would ask me for my drug of choice. And I'm like, where am I? Like, so even when I think about where my higher power put me to get clean and sober, he put me right in the middle of the fire. He said, we're going to get you through the fire. We're going to burn you through the fire. We're going to reincarnate you. We're going to bring you back. And what we're going to do is we're going to send you out there to help people. That's what we're going to do. But you're going to go through hell first. It was quite a trip, right? Because I never understood my selfishness and my pride and my ego and my self-centeredness. That ran my life. Right? Like I had so much self-centeredness and so much selfishness, from attention issues to lack of attention issues to social anxiety to ADHD to anxiety, depression to I can't be around people to I don't know how to have a relationship to like all these things, right? But at the end of the day, it was my own selfishness and self-centeredness and pride and ego, you know? I remember they said, we're going to send you home to see your family. Like I never saw my family out of clear 60-day eyes. Never. I never saw them. Right. I didn't know what that was. Yeah, I saw my family for the first time in clear eyes. And I was shaking my head going, how can they, you know, they were still skeptical and rightfully so. But like, how can they like say, I love you, you know, and all these things that are going through my mind. Right. Because the amount of stuff I've done to them and the amount of things I've done and the amount of hurt and the amount of, I never understood that because I never had my own kid at that time yet. I never understood that bond, right? Like I never understood it. Today I do. I get it today. And then I came back to Ottawa and I was on this pink cloud of like, I can move back home and my family loves me and I got 60 days. That's DAYS, not DAZE. And I can I can leave. I'm cured. I'm cured. Cured. And I find myself down on Wellington Avenue at this bar, at this pool hall, right? Like I just crashed. Like you come off the pink cloud. If you don't have the tools in your toolbox or you're not equipped or you don't know what's going on, or most times it's a self-centered, selfish pride and ego that are in your way. So you're not going to have any tools anyway, because those are your only 4 tools. And those 4 tools just, they kerfunkle you all the way to hell. You know, I had the understanding that I was the problem, but if Lori asked me for a drink, well, I'd take it because now I can blame Lori, right? But if Jay went to go pick up a drink, well, then Jay is the problem. I had that understanding. I didn't understand that my life was unmanageable. So I went there and you know, nobody asked me if I wanted to drink and nobody would come around, you know, I was like, this is weird. Right. But I mean, because I was inside my head, I thought, you know, like people were looking at me like I was a narc or something. And I went back. Next day, did the same thing. People were just staring at me and I'm just like,
what's happening?
Well, yeah, why don't you just ask me if I want a drink? Can you ask me, please? Like, you know, I'm sitting in there for 40 minutes, you know, just wasting energy. So third day I go down, went right to the bar and asked for a Budweiser. And out of the corner of my eye, as I had the Budweiser in my hand, I saw Bus 11, and that was what got me back to the treatment center. Smash. Dropped the beer, ran to the bus, got back to the treatment center, and then I lost it on Giovanna, who was my counselor. And I said, this place is no good. I'm better using that. You know, she's simply just said, Jay, go upstairs and write down everything you changed. If you have problems with that, ask the people around the treatment center. At that time, my anger, I didn't know what anger was. I didn't know how to deal with anger. I just knew to lash out. Like I didn't know how to deal with it. So I was very angry, and I'd take my abuse out on other people and mean, and wouldn't take people to meetings and just very mean. So I go to my room and I write down, I'm going to meetings. I'm clean and sober. And I'm like, how is it like I got a list and how come I only have 2 things on the list? So then I go and ask the other guys, and the ones that I was mad with took off. Right. So right away it's the instant gratification, like smoking crack. Yeah, I changed. I knew it. Fuck yeah, I did it. Yeah. Then the other counselor comes and she's like, Jay, you're walking around a treatment center asking people if you change, your life is unmanageable. At that moment, the head popped and I was like, whoa, wait a sec. What did you say? And like my self-centeredness, my selfishness, my pride, and my ego, like it hit me and I went, whoa. Right. I finally heard what she said and I went downstairs and begged. Like I begged to stay, and Gio said, you're doing it my way. The minute you decide to buck, you're out of here. This is your last chance. And here we are again. Wow. This is your last chance. Why am I getting another chance? Like, why are you giving me more chances, right? Like seeing what somebody has when you don't even see it yourself, right? So I went upstairs and I got on my hands and knees, prayed before bed. First time ever doing it, right? And I never prayed. And I've said this prayer for the whole entire time. I say it in the morning, I say it at night, just a prayer. I can assume that it came from like everywhere I was. And I don't know, I guess I just took everything together. And at that moment, I guess surrender came. God, give me the strength, courage, hope, and faith I need. Keep believing in me, trusting me, having faith in me. Keep loving and caring about me unconditionally. Give me patience, tolerance, understanding, forgiveness, compassion, and acceptance of other people's struggles along with my own. Let me love myself, like myself, care about myself, myself enough to move forward in a positive direction. Let me be comfortable with who I am and what I'm doing. Let me live in the day, the moment to live on life's terms. My Lord, I turn my will and my life over to the care of you today and guide me in my recovery. Never give up, keep living the dream.
That just came out.
That came out, and I've been saying it so that happened at 120 days. I go to sleep, I wake up, I look in the mirror, and I finally see this. I see a smile, right? And at that moment, I understood surrender. At that moment, I quit fighting. At that moment, I quit fighting Jay. In that moment of what I was fighting, and in that moment of what I was going through, and in that moment of I need to get recovery, because I hear it all the time. I need recovery. Step to the left, let it come in. Step to the right, let it come in. Yeah. You're right in the middle of it. You can't get it. So at that moment, and you know, she made me sit downstairs the next day and listen to every single one of those guys in that treatment center of what I did. And I didn't know what I was doing because I was in complete self-destruct mode, right? Like, and I sat through it and started this journey. It wasn't until December 13th of last year when I first said to myself, I'm proud of myself. And I broke down. I never stopped.
That's what it sounds like, that you didn't take it all in, that you didn't stop.
Well, I was too scared because I thought if I stopped and took it in, it would end. Yeah. Right. So it was kind of like,
I get that.
Right. I thought that if I would stop, then what do I got left? What's next? Right. Like, so that's kind of where my thinking was at. So 2010, I came off of speaking my 10-year anniversary in Ottawa, and just a disaster. I was a mental disaster. And it came to a point, and I love my daughter to death, and my anxiety, my depression had gotten the best of me back then. And I remember just kneeling down, looking at Destiny going, why don't I feel any love? Like, if I don't love my daughter, there's something wrong here. So at 10 years clean and sober, I tried committing suicide. Tried hanging myself. Wow. And you know, here we sit again going, right? So I'm going to hang myself, and it's like the most peaceful day. Like, I've come to terms with this. This is okay. Yeah. Right? Because it's a mental illness. And if you've never struggled with this, you're not going to understand. It's hard to understand. But, you know, most peaceful day, you know, no water's moving, no birds, no nothing. Then, you know, out of nowhere, bam! The dam opens up, and this water starts flowing out of this dam where I am, and it knocks me out of my trench that I'm in. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I look around and holy, what am I doing? And then I went and talked to Sandy and told Sandy what was going on. She said, Jay, like, you're overloaded on processing. Like, you got way too much stuff hitting you that you don't know how to process it. And you're trying to filter through it, but you're just having such a hard time to filter through the process. It's not that you're not lacking the tools. It's not like you're lacking. You're just now in self-doubt mode. You're self-doubting yourself in every avenue of life, and everything. You said
it. You said if you didn't keep on going, you were afraid of what was going to happen. So you just kept going without processing it fully. You just were going forward, just moving forward, and not doing anything else. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I realized what was going on, and all of a sudden Ashley shows up. Ashley shows up at my house, and literally at the beginning it was about recovery. I was honestly just there to help her and process her, and she was there to help me in a way, right? Because I was having a hard time with the self-doubt and believing in myself and trying to figure that stuff out. Ashley shows up, and she's 5 months clean and sober, and we start like building this bond. And it was the first time in my life I was able to be 100% honest, and it was the first time in my life I felt safe to be 100% honest. It was the first time in my life that I didn't feel like somebody was going to leave me, right? Because most people leave me. So I said to her when she was 7 months clean and sober, I said, well, let's do this thing called the recovery couple. Let's just go out there together. Now I got my wing person. Like, it's not just me. And while I'm teaching her height, I don't even realize that she's teaching me height back because I'm so humbled. And she's teaching my own program back to me, and I'm getting the fire lit again. All of a sudden the coals are not like watered down, and I'm like starting to walk with my head up and my back up, and I got more confidence, and I got more drive and more ambition, and I could do it again, right? And I said to her, let's do this. Let's see what happens. So we start working this journey together and start getting to know each other and start loving each other and really starting to get to know each other and start telling our stories together. And you know what? We need to make hype. Hype has to be real now. Like it needs to come out of Jay's head into a book. We need to get a team, and we need to go out and help due to the lack of availability when it comes to programming around the world right now. You know, what we know is wait times in treatment centers are ridiculous. What we know is trying to get a counselor is ridiculous. What we know is also, you know, the cost of it is astounding. So I was like, you know what? It's time that the lived experience lane needs to become born. We need to create an option. We need to create shoes for people to put their feet in if they choose to. People just need a new set of shoes to maybe try, to maybe think they could try, maybe something. But it needs to be driven by lived experience people, because the lived experience people can understand what's going on. So I was like, okay, it's time to make this real. And she said, okay. And you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna build a team. And it started with, you know, Ashley. I have Sabrina. Sabrina, I met in Ottawa. Sabrina got clean and sober when she was 17 years old. She's 18 years clean and sober right now. Just an amazing soul. This beautiful, beautiful person. She's married. She's just, you know, a quality of life. We got Bob, who was my mentor at Liberty House, who taught me, you know, the beginning of hype. It was help my personal effort. Then I changed it into this. We got Ashley, and then we got Brooke. I don't know, you probably know Brooke from Sober Biz Babe. And then one of my other exciting things is Simone. I talked about Simone. Simone Choi owns a business in Ottawa called Firebox Glass, and she makes beads. So this is our journey to 30. So the most beautiful thing about this is that Simone's sister Susan is a person visually impaired and a person with autism, and it really sits close to my heart to create an opportunity for their amazing art that they do. These are handcrafted beads that Susan made. This is our Journey to 30 bracelets. So you do our 6-week program, and every single one of these beads has a meaning and a name. So when you transition our Journey to 30 program, we give you the Journey bracelet that's handcrafted. The beads are handcrafted.
Wow, that's beautiful.
The Journey to 90, you get a necklace, and then the Journey to 180, you get a necklace and a bracelet. Locally, the book gives me the ability to go into corrections, gives me the ability to put my passion where I want to go. I want to put the passion and the heart into the ground level. I want to help people at the ground level, because that's where I was. I wasn't getting the help that I needed at ground level. I wasn't getting the help I needed. If I would have had one of these journey books and I went back to my cell and went, needs inventory, and I looked through it and I started reading things, right? Or I go, whoa, the life cycle. Oh, dreams and goals. Oh, congratulations, you've completed the 7-day affirmation challenge. And I'm telling myself every day, I am trusting, I am patient, I am humble, I am loving, I am disciplined. All these things, right? If I had the ability and I had the tool, maybe I wouldn't have had 20 years of self-abuse, and maybe I wouldn't have had 20 years of self-sabotage and multiple attempts of suicide. Maybe, right? All that stuff has led me right to where I am today to bring this to the world. Life is absolutely amazing. One of my best sayings in the world, I came up with this years ago, it's just come back to me, is, you know, the brightness of the future is in today. Absolutely. Right? So if I can see the brightness right now, chances are I got a chance to see it tomorrow, right? But if I'm just thinking about the future, it's hard to get there, right? Because yesterday's gone, it's not here right now, right? So the brightness of the future is in today.
I just adore you, and you have this passion for recovery. Like, oh my God, I feel it, and it's contagious, and I wish you guys nothing but success. Congratulations. This is all wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough for coming on and talking to me, so I get to know it a little bit more, get to know you a little bit more, and I just love it. You enjoy the rest of your evening and go do your live 90th episode, and I'll be tuning in, all right?
Awesome, yeah. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk very soon, okay, Jay?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, take care.